And I need to also press record on my end. Start recording. Yes. Okay. So let's begin. Welcome everyone to the 15th lesson of the ESN Advanced Dutch course. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're too busy. I hope you're not too busy with exams. That's what I'm going to say. There is a slight change of schedule today. So normally this lesson would be about lesson 15, politics. But A, I do not feel like talking about politics today. And B, this lesson is pretty important. And quite a lot of people mentioned that they weren't able to come today. And I'd like, because this lesson at the end, we are preparing an exercise for the next lesson. I would like as many people as possible to attend. Therefore, we're moving this lesson to next week. Instead, this week, we're doing lesson 17. So if you want to keep up with today, please move your booklet to lesson 17 on page 28. That is what we will do. Next week, we will go over politics when things settle down, and when hopefully more people are done with their exams, so we can go through the lesson. That lesson is quite important with sentence structure and the aforementioned exercise. So that's the reason. Nevertheless, this lesson is also very interesting. The topic of this lesson is gezondheid, which means health, and is also what you say when someone sneezes in Dutch. So it's like, bless you, gezondheid. One of the main topics is, as you can see on top, the word So this image captures both topics quite well. Is a weird word in Dutch, and we'll go into a lot of depth on it today to show you the way around the weird paths of the Dutch language. And showing the way is also what we're going to do today. Wow, my segues are so good this week. As you remember, last week we skipped an exercise, namely showing people the way. We'll do that today because the lesson itself is not super long, and because it's a good exercise, and I don't want to skip over it as I do with other exercises. But before that, we will discuss the homework of lesson 14, and then we'll tell you how to do the exercise, and then you do it. And after that, we will quickly go through the verb of the week and the passive form, how to make sentence passive. Then we'll already have our break. Probably, maybe we'll have more time. Probably not, given my track record. Then we will go over the word in a lot of detail. And then we're done already. Cool. So, hope that's clear. If not, let me know. And then we will start. So Eva, could you start with the homework?
Yes. Okay, so last week I wasn't there, but I was told you guys had some homework to do. So the first thing we're gonna do is provide the answers for the homework oefening 1 and oefening 2. Let me see. Kan ik naar de volgende slide?
Huh? What are you trying to do?
Naar de volgende slide, dacht ik.
Oh, ja, dat kan je helaas niet doen. Dat kan ik doen.
Yeah, so the first, we thought we were just going to go through this a bit quick because we have a lot to talk about today. But if there are any questions, let me know. Right, Thomas?
Yes.
I would just provide the answers, I guess, and then
yeah, maybe for the second one you can ask them a bit, but for this one.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, so the first one states, would you like to have a drink with me? Which translates to, zou je iets met me willen drinken? Which is the first one. The second one is a bit longer and says how he could have gone to the cinema if he had enough money on his bank account. And that is translated to, hij had naar de bioscoop kunnen gaan als hij genoeg geld op zijn bankrekening had. This is quite a long one, so if anyone has questions, just let me know.
Yeah, no, dus die had kunnen, dus the could have. as we discussed last week.
Yeah.
That's the important point. If you got the rest incorrect or in a weird order, that's fine.
Yes. And the third one is we will think about it, which translated to we zullen erover nadenken. And note that this one already includes the word er, which Tom is going to explain in more detail later on. So it's no big deal if you hadn't really got the hang of that erover, because Thomas will explain. But that's how you translate it. The fourth one is we weren't able to come because our car was broken, which translates to we konden niet komen want de auto was kapot. So weren't able to come translates to konden niet komen. Then the fifth one is do you fancy meeting anytime soon? And that we translated to zou je het leuk vinden om een keer af te spreken? Then the sixth one, my brother was studying all the time, is translated to mijn broer studeerde de hele tijd. And finally, the seventh one is he might start chain smoking again, but he shouldn't do that. And that one translated to hij zou weer kunnen gaan kettingroken, maar dat moet hij niet doen. Are there any questions or things you're clear?
I have a question.
Yes, of course.
Eva, it's about the second sentence. So I use the I had. I use zou instead of had. But
can you say the sentence?
I zou naar de bioscoop kunnen gaan. But then you put add in there, and yeah, I didn't.
Okay, let me think.
I think it works. Hij zou naar de bioscoop kunnen gaan. I think those two sentences mean a bit of a different thing in Dutch, but in English, there's not really a distinction in the usage of could have here. So hij zou naar de bioscoop kunnen gaan means more like, I guess. I think actually it might be a bit less correct. I think hij zou naar de bioscoop kunnen gaan means he could go to the cinema. And hij had naar de bioscoop kunnen gaan means he could have gone to the cinema. I think that is indeed the difference.
Yeah, I agree. But they're really closely related, though, I'd say.
They're very close.
It's definitely not wrong or anything, but yeah, good one, I think. Thank you for your question. Is there anyone else? Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah, we had one question. We said for the last one, like maar dat zou hij niet moeten doen.
Because this shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
So
good one. Yeah, that's perfect. Actually.
Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah.
Even better, yeah. Good one, guys. Nice.
I have a question about the sixth one. Yeah. Because I wrote, mijn broer was de hele tijd aan te studeren. Because it's a thing he was continuing doing in the past. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's even better. But we haven't treated the present continuous yet. So that's why we put this here. But indeed, that's very good. Okay. We'll do that in lesson, actual lesson 17. We'll go over the present continuous. But good job.
Thank you.
Right.
Anyone else, or is that? I guess that's it. Let me see. What shall we do?
Maybe like alternatingly ask people and answer.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So the second oefening is wat heb je gedaan? Wat ga je doen? And then you have to answer the following questions. So I'll first ask Ari. Heb je een leuke dag gehad? Wat heb je gedaan?
Okay, I didn't do it, but I'll answer.
I can really hear you that well.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's better.
Now? Can you hear me?
Ja.
Oké. Ik heb een leuke dag gehad. Ik heb mijn huiswerk gedaan.
Nice.
Which is
Good
not
job,
true.
Art.
Hey, very fun.
Really good one. Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Mhm.
Next one. Let me see. Judy. Heb je wel eens een drankje in het Nederlands besteld en waar?
Can be very
Ja, ik heb een dranken pesto in een crew.
Nice. Good one. Perfect. Thank you, Judy. The third. Let me see. Elisa, maybe? Heb je wel eens buiten Utrecht gefietst? Waar heb je gefietst?
Nee, nog niet. Ik wandel.
Nice.
Ja, nice one. Thomas.
Ja, dat ben ik.
Kan je heel even voor me overnemen? Want ik word gebeld door mijn vader.
Oh, ja, geen probleem.
Wil ik heel even opnemen,
She's
ja?
gonna call by her dad, so I will take over. Oh, so 4.
Thank you.
Michelle, wanneer heb je boodschappen gedaan? Of wanneer heb je voor het laatst boodschappen gedaan? En bij welke supermarkt? Michelle? All right, I will ask someone else. Alexander? Alexander? Oh.
Ja.
We'll get to your question in a bit. Yeah.
Ik doe mijn boodschappen in de nacht bij Jumbo.
Ah, nice. I think you mean in the avond. Usually they're not open at night, but
Yeah.
nice. By Jumbo. All right, Jonade en ik, you had a question?
Ja, is het ik heb naar Vluten gefietst? Ik ben.
Ik
Let me think. Does
Ik
this...
Ja, je bent... I think it's ik ben.
I don't know. I was just asking.
Yeah, it's indeed ik ben. Because
Ik
the
ben.
endpoint is mentioned. Yeah, and it's a verb of movement.
Okay, because the endpoint is mentioned. Okay, thank you.
If you just say ik heb gefietst, then you can say, if you just cycled a bit, you can say ik heb gefietst.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like thinking, oh, is this correct with the rule, or is this just like a Dutchism? Yeah, and good job, Alexander, by the way. Oh, I'll just do the fifth one, because I spoiled it. Aan welke universiteit heb je gestudeerd en wat heb je gestudeerd? Ik heb aan de Rijksuniversiteit Groningen gestudeerd. Daar heb ik natuurkunde gestudeerd. En nu studeer ik aan de Utrecht Universiteit. En ik studeer History and Philosophy of Science. So, this is Eva's answer. She studied law at Utrecht University. And I studied physics at Groningen University.
Ik heb een vraag voor Veer.
Ja.
Ik heb gisteren. Is dat gisteren?
Yes, that's short for gisteren. That's how Dutch people usually say it.
Ah, okay.
Nice
But
one.
but in writing, would you write gisteren?
We'll probably write gisteren, unless you're like texting someone or something. Casual conversation could use gisteren. But gisteren is never wrong.
Okay, in conversations gisteren. Ik heb gisteren boodschappen gedaan. Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
That's then you sound a lot more Dutch.
Thanks.
Right. Alexandra, wat ga je dit weekend doen? Met wie? Hopefully nothing too outgoing.
Op het moment weet ik niet met wie, maar ik moet een presentatie voorbereiden.
Nice. Good. Very good answer. Eva's answer. Ik ga dit weekend wandelen met mijn vriendin. She's going to walk. I'm not sure if this is your answer or...
Oh, it's just, I just made it up.
Okay. this answer is, I'm going to walk this weekend with my girlfriend. 7. Ada, ga je vanavond koken? Wat ga je koken? Of wat heb je gekookt?
Ja, ik ga aardappelen koken. Ik ga het met een beetje slaat eten.
Nice. Very Dutch meal. Eva's answer here. Ik ga pasta maken. Also an answer. There's of course a lot of things you could cook. And keeping with tradition, I will just ask one of you three now. Jona?
Ja.
Ga je nog een Nederlandse stad bezoeken? En wanneer?
Ik ga vandaag naar Beeldhoven bezoeken.
Ah, oké. Nice. Ik ga vandaag naar Beeldhoven. Ik ga volgende week naar Gouda. A lot of variations. Alice, hoe laat ga je morgen opstaan en wat ga je doen?
Ik ga morgen 8 uur opstaan en ik ga met mijn vriend ontbijten.
Nice. Very good. Then, and finally, Yannick. Ga je dit jaar reizen? Waar ga je naartoe reizen? There's probably not a lot of traveling still left to do.
Ja, ik ga naar Duitsland.
That makes sense.
Ja.
Cool. Okay, so that was the homework. Pretty doable. Let us then return to the previous page voor oefening 3, die we vorige week hebben overgeslagen, that we skipped last week. It's still a useful thing to know how to give directions and how to receive directions. So we'll go into that for a bit. So the exercise, first and foremost, we have this map, this nice carpet that maybe some of you had as kids. I had, in any case. The exercise is quite simple. You'll be put into groups of 4, 3, I don't know how many people are there. Like 12 we have, 11. Groups of 3, 4. And the exercise is, you mention a starting point, and then you give directions to an end point that you don't mention, and the other people have to guess where you end up. And then you cycle, and then someone else does it, etc., until the exercise is over. So you have to practice giving directions and receiving them, and getting to the correct endpoint. Now, first, of course, I need to tell you how to give and receive directions. The problem is, of course, there's a lot of ways to do that. There's not like one single way that the Dutch tell direction, but we can give you a few tools. The first tools are, of course, where from and where to you give directions. So if you see this lovely, lovely map, here are a few landmarks that we gave the names of. For example, here is een bushalte, a bus station, het ziekenhuis, a hospital, een rotonde, a roundabout, een politiebureau, police office, no, that's not office, police station. Yeah. Een vliegveld, an airport. It literally says airport on it. That's easy. Een school, a school. Een universiteit, with some imagination, I guess. A university. Een kerk, a church. Een tankstation, a gas station. Een kruispunt, for crossway or street crossing. Crossroads. En een farm, een boerderij. En een speeltuin, which is like a playing grounds. So those are things you can navigate to or from. There's a few more mentioned here. For instance, hier een parkeerplaats, parking spot. Een fontein, the fountain. No, I guess those are it. And a stadshuis. We couldn't decide which one looked like a city hall, but if you can pick one, go ahead. Then other useful words to know are words for street, etc., etc. So we already mentioned a roundabout is a rotonde. Dan een street is een straat. Straat. Or a road, you can also say. It's een weg. Then tunnel, there's no tunnels on this thing, but it's useful to know, it's just tunnel. Bridge, also not included here, also useful to know, is een brug. Brug. I'll just skip over the ones that are not relevant, but there are, of course, a lot of words. What is relevant is zebrapad, which is a street crossing. These are these things, you know. Zebrapad, because they're like black, white, like a zebra. Stoplichten, they're not here, but they're useful to know, are traffic lights. Yeah, those are it. Then the other final things, and before the actual direction giving, are the prepositions. You should know most of these, but in case you don't, there is a preposition list here. Prepositions of place specifically, give the relations of place between two objects. So you could say, het politiebureau is naast het vliegveld. The police station is next to the airport. Or de bushalte is achter het vliegveld. The bus stop is behind the airport, etc. I did not give you the cardinal directions because I don't think you need it, like north, south, east, west. I can just briefly give it to you if you want to use them to give directions. If someone gives me directions with go north or something, then I'm already lost. So I don't usually use those, but maybe you do. So north is noord. Noord with a D. East is oost. South is zuid, also with a D. Z-U-I-D. And west is west. It's kind of easy. So north, oost, zuid, west. I hope that's, I know, I get mirrored, I think, for you, so that doesn't work. North, oost, zuid, west. Yeah. I hope that worked. I think you can remember which way is west. And then, of course, links and rechts, or links and rechts for you, I guess. Left and right, also very useful to know. Okay, cool. Then, the actual direction giving. How do you tell someone where to go? There's a lot of ways to do this in English, of course. So, go right after the so many streets. Take a left, take the first exit, etc., etc. So we just outlined a few options that you can use. Maybe you can come up with your own using the words you know and these words. So directions almost always start with the imperative, right? You tell someone to do something, which is just the stem of the word. So here, sla linksaf or sla rechtsaf. Turn left or turn right. In Dutch, it's kind of weird that there's a lot of variations on how to say left and right, unfortunately. So you can't just say sla links. You say sla linksaf. But you can say ga naar links. But that's a bit more ambiguous. Let's just go left. And turn left is a bit more immediate, right? It's just make a right angle. Then the second one on this list. I'm following this list, so you can follow along. Neem de straat links of rechts. So take the so many street right or left. Or neem de exit. Afslag, sorry. Neem de zoveelste afslag. Take the so many exit. Useful stop word. Daarna, after that. Ga rechtdoor means go right ahead, go straight. So it's useful when describing things happening on the crossroads or something. This is how you kind of signal the destination. is aan de linkerkant or rechterkant, is on the left hand or right hand side. Other useful continuous word, and then. Another one is stop. You stop, you're there. And maybe the final one is just you're there. Je bent er. You are there. We'll get into how to use er in a bit, of course. Yes. So I hope that's sort of clear. Of course, there's a lot of ways you can tell directions, as I've already said a lot of times. If you have a specific thing I did not mention that you want to know, ask. Before I divvy you up into groups, let's first practice. And how we will practice is I will give you directions to go from one place to another place. I will not mention the destination, and you will have to give me the destination. So let's start at the bushalte here. I will give directions, and you please tell me where we end up. Oké, dus van de bushalte neem de eerste straat links. Ga dan rechtdoor. Daarna sla rechtsaf. Sla dan linksaf. Neem de derde afslag op de rotonde. En het is aan je rechterhand. Daarna. Where are we? Hoe is het hier?
Universiteit.
No.
De kerk.
Almost.
Ah. Oh,
Yeah, it's
nee.
that.
The other one across the street from the kerk.
Like the unnamed one.
Here. Yeah, or this building.
The block one.
This area.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. So we went sla linksaf. Eerst gaat links. We went here. Then we went right ahead. Then we went right. Then we went left. And then we took the third exit on the roundabout. So 1, 2, 3. And then it was on your right hand. So here. Indeed, it was a bit ambiguous. We could have continued a bit further, and then we would have ended up here at the university. At least, so that would be correct. All right. So now I will divvy you up into groups to do this. I think I'll do groups of 3. So Yona, Ada, and Yannick, you can be your own group. Easy. And the other people, please go to the thing I direct you to. I'll be fun and won't do it alphabetically as much this time. Alexander, Elisa, and Alice, you go to group 1, channel 1. Ari, Michelle, and Sophie, you go to group 2. And Lokhe and Alexandra, sorry. And I think I didn't mention someone. No, I think that's it. So Lokhe and Alexandra, sorry. Could you go to group 3? If I didn't mention someone, let me know. But I think I did.
Do you know supposed to move? Like when you said the example bus, are we staring at the bus or away from the bus?
I guess we're kind of having the bus on the right-hand side, like how you would be on the road.
Oh, from the road's perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you could also have the bus on your left and then go right, but that's not really a direction where anything is. So.
No, but it makes sense. And then linksaf, then you went to the left. Okay.
Yeah.
Now group 2. Thank you.
No problem. Do you know where to go? Okay. Everyone knows where to go? I think so.
Sorry, wait, do we leave now?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Okay. And can I just check? I think you put me in the first group, right?
I think you were in the first group, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Good luck.
Gingen wij ook in een groep of bleven wij hier?
We kunnen wel, dat is inderdaad een goede idee. Ik had er even niet zoveel over nagedacht, maar...
Maar ik weet niet dat je het anders gaat doen, Max.
Nee, ik had niet echt een ander idee. Dus het is inderdaad wel goed om even te kijken wat iedereen aan het doen is.
Oké. Zal ik naar groep 2 gaan dan?
Is goed. Okay, cool. Okay, you're already here. Cool. I was like,
Yeah, we were done.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't mention an ending time. I still the others to get back at 50.
Okay, should I don't know. I can tell them I haven't. Ik zei dat ik jou ging zoeken.
Wat zei je?
Ik zei dat ik jou ging zoeken.
Oh, oké, ja.
Moet ik hun even ophalen?
Ja, ik ga het ophalen.
Oké.
So hoping it went well. Hi, Lisa. Eva, zou jij woorden doen? Jij zou woorden doen, hè?
Het werkwoord, ja.
Ja, en ook de passieve vorm, of zal ik dat doen?
Ik weet niet meer hoeveel. Ja, ik wil het wel proberen hoor. Ik heb niet meer naar de site gekeken. Maar... Gaan we ook.
Oké, hope everyone's...
Ik weet niet of we iedereen al hebben.
Nee, nog niet. In de tweede. Ik denk dat die het nu zo aankomen. Ja. Nee, die zijn het niet. Arie, Sophie en Michel. I'll go grab him.
Is het iedereen?
Yeah, they're coming. Everyone's coming back.
Ik zie volgens mij trouwens een fout in die syntax in de...
Really?
Nou, in die zinnen, zeg maar, in het boekje.
Uh-huh.
Maar bij die tweede staat... Jan zou morgen door Pieter naar de bioscoop gebracht worden zijn.
Worden zij gebracht, ja. We'll get to that. Correct. We'll get to it. Okay.
Okay, guys.
Welcome back, everyone.
I hope everyone's back. I hope it went all right. I looked at some of you guys and it went quite well, I think. So good job. The next thing that we're going to discuss is het werkwoord van de week, which is woorden in this case. Well, this is what it looks like. Ik word jij, je wordt with a T. Hij, zij, het wordt. Wij worden, jullie worden, zij worden. In the past tense, this would be ik werd. Jij werd en het, hij, zij, het werd. En dan wij, jullie, zij werden. En dan, how do you say this in English? Voltooid deelwoord?
Past participle.
Exactly. That is, ik ben geworden, jij, je bent geworden, but the T again. En dan hij, zij, het is geworden. En wij, jullie zijn geworden. And this werkwoord, it means becoming. And it's really important for the passive form, the passive form of sentences, which we're going to discuss right now. I don't know if you have a slide for that, Thomas.
We do.
Yeah, exactly. So the passive form is worden, becoming, plus the past principle. It's a sentence construction which indicates that the verb is happening to the subject rather than that the subject is doing the verb. In Dutch, rather than saying is or was being, which translates to zijn, we use becoming, which means worden. And it usually is used together with the word door, which means by. And then it says the object doing the verb on the subject. If left out, there's either no specific cause of the verb, or there's an implied cause, which can be inferred from context. An example is de vakken worden door vakkenvullers gevuld. So that is the extra word door is in it. And that translates to the shelves are being filled by the shelf fillers. So let me see. And then the next one is ik werd door Pieter met het coronavirus geïnfecteerd. Which translates to I was infected with the coronavirus by Peter. Okay. Something else, Thomas? Let me see. So from active to passive, active to passive, what changes is the subject becomes the object plus door in the sentence, and the object the subject. Let me see. De hond bijt het kind, the dog bites the child. Can you explain a bit or help me a bit with the finite verb, Thomas?
Yes, of course. So if you have an active sentence and you for some reason feel like converting that to a passive sentence, usually you want to do it the other way around, we'll get that, is that the finite verb, which is like if that's the only thing in the sentence, that gets converted to worden plus the past participle of that finite verb. So here, de hond bijt het kind, the dog bites the child, becomes het kind wordt, so wordt becomes the finite verb, door de hond gebeten. And gebeten is the past participle of bijten. So that's how you do it. And of course, if you want to do it the other way around, you just do it the other way around. So then you get rid of the door, and the door thing becomes the subject, and the subject becomes the object of the active sentence. So, het kind wordt door de hond gebeten. Het kind is the subject. It becomes the object in the active sentence. So, bada bing, bada boom. And here's a note. The auxiliary verb takes precedent over worden. So I said the finite verb turns into worden plus the past participle, and worden becomes the finite verb. But if the sentence already contains an auxiliary verb, that stays as the finite verb, because otherwise it gets very messy. It already gets very messy, as you can see here. So Pieter zou Jan morgen naar de bioscoop gebracht hebben. I wanted to make the sentence as complicated as I could, and it turns out it made it a bit too complicated. So Pieter zou Jan morgen naar de bioscoop gebracht hebben. So Pieter would bring is not correct. It's Pieter would have brought Jan to the cinema tomorrow. So it's future perfect with zou. And then if you make that passive, so this sentence is of dubious correctness. Jan, so in the active sentence, Pieter would have brought Jan to the cinema tomorrow. In the passive form, it is Jan, of course, that is being brought by Pieter. So Jan zou morgen door Pieter naar de bioscoop gebracht worden zijn geweest. Maybe? I don't actually know what the order of the sentence is. Maybe Eva, you know the better order of the things at the end.
I would say Jan zou morgen door Pieter naar de bioscoop worden gebracht. But I'm not sure if that's an option.
Yeah, but then it's not. But then it's not anymore like. But then you lose the gebracht hebben. Then it's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So things get very messy when you do this, as you can see. Let's.
We have some
construct an easier sentence. Let's look at the dog and biting the child again. Very easy, fun to imagine scenario. So de hond bijt het kind. So the dog bites the child. Boring. De hond gaat het kind bijten. So the dog is going to bite the child. It's intending to. Let's stop it. If we make that a passive sentence, then it doesn't become het kind wordt door de hond gebeten gaan or something. No, de gaan stays at this place. So het kind gaat door de hond gebeten worden. That's already complicated, and I try to make it even more complicated by introducing past future perfect in the example sentence here. So, again, de hond gaat het kind bijten. Passive form, het kind gaat door de hond gebeten worden. Beautiful. Infinitives. Okay. That is the passive form. It's not super complicated. What you just need to know is everything here, and that we use worden. And furthermore, there isn't in Dutch. In English, you can say it's the dog or the child is bitten by the dog or is being bitten by the dog. And in Dutch, that distinction is a bit more blurry. So het kind wordt door de hond gebeten can imply that's just you're describing a situation, or you're describing a situation that's actively happening. In Dutch, that isn't super clear, and in English, that's more clear. So that's why I put the being between brackets, just for your information. There's an exercise, but I propose that we do the exercise later, after talking about which we will do after a break. So let's have a break. I think we can do this we can do a break until 10 past. I think you've earned it after an hour. All right. And then we come back, and then we talk about even more complicated things. So, okay, have a nice break. See you in a bit.
Ik moet de volgende keer echt even die slides weten bekijken. Het is best wel ingewikkeld als je het zo on the spot moet.
Ja. Het is niet per se iets dat je echt snap voor de dag hebt.
Nee. Ik ga even wat denken aan.
Ja, geen probleem. Echt, die laatste, ik zit echt te denken, hoe moet die eigenlijk? Echt waar. Jan zou morgen...
Ik denk toch dat het... Jan zou morgen door Pieter naar de bioscoop gebracht zijn worden. Ik denk dat dat het meer is.
Gebracht zijn? Gebracht geworden zijn?
Ja, gebracht geworden zijn.
Wauw. Dan heb je 2 past participles. Wat? Oké.
Gebracht worden. Ja, ik denk dat dat hem is.
Oh, ja, want je hebt de past participle van worden en van de present
Ja.
perfect.
Gebracht geworden zijn. Nee, gebracht... Wat was het nou?
Gebracht geworden zijn.
Ja, gebracht geworden zijn. Oké, cool.
Wauw. Wat een taal.
We zijn terug, ja?
Ja. Okay, hi everyone. Hope you're back. Can't really tell, so hi. Maybe give me a sign if you're back.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Ari, you're back. Cool.
Hello.
All right. I will assume most of you are back, so let us continue. Got some ground to cover. So there's the exercise we will do in a bit. But first, let us talk about this weird word called You've probably seen it pop up a bit already. Might even ask the Dutch person what it means, and they might have given you maybe a kind of inconclusive answer. But I'm here to tell you what it really means and how to use it. So let's first look at some examples of sentences using Zijn schoonmoeder was ook. His mother-in-law was also there. Zal iets moeten veranderen. Something will have to change. Hij wil de tafel verplaatsen, maar de tv staat erop. He wants to move the table, but the TV is standing on top of it. Hoeveel vakken volg jij? I'm following 3. So as you see in those translations, never means the same thing. And these are examples of the 4 cases of and we'll go through them one by one. And hopefully afterwards you'll have a better understanding of how to use this. It is tricky because it is just so it does not translate to one simple thing. But the most common usage of it is the one you've probably been told, which is as a translation of there, basically. It is used as there when either the specific place is already mentioned and you're referring back to it, or it is kind of unemphasized and not super important where the place is, or it's kind of assumed that you know where the place is in both cases. So here, this is an example sentence. Ik ken de weg in Utrecht goed, omdat ik in Utrecht gewoond heb. Omdat ik in Utrecht heb gewoond, would be the sentence order we teach you. That sounds kind of cumbersome, right? I know the way around Utrecht pretty well because I lived in Utrecht. You wouldn't say that, right? In English, you would say, I know the way around Utrecht pretty well because I've lived there. And this there, you usually replace with in Dutch. Ik ken de weg in Utrecht goed omdat ik gewoond heb. You could also use there, the other there, namely daar, that you might have heard of, daar, D-A-A-R. But that is has a lot more emphasis. It's kind of like jij versus je. Usually you use je, but when you want to emphasize things a lot, you use jij. Usually you use but when you want to emphasize something, you use daar. If you say, for instance, ik ken de weg in Utrecht goed omdat ik daar gewoond heb. It sounds like maybe you're disputing someone who's saying, "Oh yeah, you don't know shit about Utrecht," and you're saying, "Oh man, I know how to get around here. I lived there." If you just say it doesn't mean anything specifically. Another example. Wat heeft Lisanne dit jaar in Portugal gedaan? It should be a question mark. Ze heeft deze zomer gesurfd. She surfed. What did Lisanne do in Portugal this year? Yeah, she surfed there this summer. It's assumed that this is Portugal and it doesn't have a lot of emphasis. So you just use So that's kind of the easy part. Just there, and it's not super important is there, use The next part is probably it's kind of in order of commonality, so I'll stop saying that. Is as an introduction of an impersonal sentence, so een inleiding van een onpersoonlijke zin. So examples, I'll get to what that is in the next one. Kan niets gebeuren, nothing is going to happen. Ging veel fout, a lot went wrong. Werd veel gerookt en gezopen. There was a lot of smoking and drinking happening. So, an impersonal sentence is a sentence which has as a subject something which is not very specific or not a person. I would say not very specific. So like words like something, nothing, all sorts of, or a lot, many, much, a few, little, someone, no one, somebody, whatever. But also just words that are not really a person often are introduced with er. For example, words like that start with 3 or no. Not specifically 3, only when there are 3 of them you use er. No, when you start with a number. For example, 3 cars drove down the road yesterday, for instance. In Dutch you could say 3 auto's reden over de weg, reden gisteren over de weg. But that you wouldn't really say that. You would say reden gisteren 3 auto's over de weg. There were 3 cars riding down the road yesterday. If the subject is kind of unspecific and, well, not unspecific, maybe if the subject is not specific. So 3 cars is not very specific about what cars there are, right? But if you say, I don't know, the Batmobile, or for instance, that's pretty specific. Then you wouldn't use that. That's a very specific car. So you would say, de Batmobile reed gisteren door de straat. And not, reed gisteren een Batmobile door de straat. Because that implies that, oh yeah, the Batmobile is just like, oh yeah, one of those, you know, millions of them. This often occurs together with the passive form, because you use the passive form often when there is not really a clear subject, because you kind of muffle the subject away if you leave out the door, for instance. Here, wordt gezeurd over de nieuwe maatregelen. This is a very bad sentence. This is how a very literal translation. There is being complained about the new measures, or complaints are made about the new measures. There are complaints about a lot of complaints about the new measures. So complaints is not specific, right? If it was like a specific group of people with a specific ideology that were complaining, then you would not use there. Then you would say the X complained about the new measures. Werd naar de politicus geschreeuwd. There was, or the politician was shouted at. Yeah, or there was shouting at the politician. So shouting at the politician happened, basically. It doesn't specify who did it. It just happened. So you use There was not a real specific subject. This one is kind of the most... this one is kind of the vaguest one, but it's also, you just have to see it a lot. Right? Yeah, I can't really say a lot about this. It's a bit of a weird one. This one is also kind of weird. It's used as the adverbial form of it. So in Dutch, we don't really have a good like object or possessive form of the word it. So in English, you can have just it, its. For Dutch, for he, we have he, him, his, right? Cool pronouns. But for het, we have het, and then we have het sometimes, but we don't have like hets. There's not a word that exists. You cannot say that. So to get around that, we use Why? I don't know. Why don't we just make a word for het in the genitive? I don't know. This often occurs with a preposition. So, here's an example. Kees zou graag willen sporten, maar hij heeft geen tijd voor. Kees would like to work out, but he doesn't have the time for it. So here the for is the preposition and it is Hij heeft geen tijd voor. Doesn't have time for it. Heb je mijn bril gezien? Ja, je zit erop. Have you seen my glasses? Yes, you're sitting on them. So in Dutch, bril is a singular, so it's still it. So you're sitting on it. And interestingly, if the on it and the preposition and it are next to each other, they just conjoin. Like, I don't know, gross friends or something. They just become one word. If there's something in between, and I'll talk about what would go in between, then you just put them separately. But often, if there's like not an object or other adverbs in between, then they just stick together. And that looks kind of weird because it also messes with the pronunciation, because this you say erop, but following the common pronunciation rules, it's a vowel, consonant vowel. You would maybe say, oh, this is erop, but it is not, alas. It's just erop. Another example, ik moet eerst naar de apotheek en dan naar mijn huisarts. Maar gelukkig zit die ernaast. I have to go to my GP. Oh wait, this is all the way around, sorry. I have to go to my pharmacy and then to the GP. But luckily, they're right next to it. The GP is right next to the pharmacy. Zit die ernaast. Die is the pointing word. Do you have more examples of this? No, I guess this is just how this works. If you have some sentence with a preposition and you want to refer to it, it becomes er. There are some cases, maybe that's useful to know, where you can use het, but that is when you are not using a preposition, and the het is kind of specific. It's like a specific thing. So have an example?
I have a quick question.
Yeah, please.
It's not supposed to be naar de apotheek, is it? This is just a typo, right?
Huh? Oh, yeah, sorry, it's not naar de.
Okay. This one.
I just typed it twice, sorry.
I also have a question.
Yes, please.
For het, does it have to be a het word, a word, in order to be able to use er?
Oh, no, it doesn't have to be. I don't think. No, it doesn't have to be an het word. For instance, it usually refers to an object, right? Yeah, just it as an object. So, heb je mijn bril? Bril is de word, de bril. Ja, je zit erop. So it does not have to be.
I think you at one point you gave like a comparison, like the uses this and then het or something uses it in the beginning.
Yes, but that is in the if you are referring to it in the if it is the object of the sentence and the direct object specifically. I'm making it confusing, but the words indeed use hij. Yeah, for instance. Yeah. Yeah, so heb je mijn wortel gezien, for instance? Have you seen my carrot? Very weird. I'm just making a weird sentence. And the answer maybe would be yes, you are eating it. Then you would say ja, je eet hem, because carrot isn't the word, and then you usually use hem to refer to it. Heb je, what's another het word?
Paard?
Het paard? Yeah, okay. I'm just going, okay, sure. Heb je het paard gezien? But paard is an animal, so they work differently. Heb je het worteltje? Heb je het worteltje gezien? Het worteltje, easy. Ja, je eet het. You could say that.
So then, in that example, it would be het word, and then het at the ending, and the other one the and hem. So when would you use er?
Er you use when it is an indirect object, so it uses a preposition. So in the examples I just gave, het is the direct object, so it is. I'm eating it. And here I'm sitting on it. So that's the difference.
There's a preposition. That's the difference, right? And the other one,
yeah.
The van. There's yeah. I see this preposition in the sentence. You can use it.
Yeah. That the preposition is a kind of a subcase of that, but that's for now. That's good enough. It's complicated enough as is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Let's go to this one. This one's kind of easy. This is the easiest. It's in combination with numbers. If you're referring back to a number of stuff you have. So, hoeveel vitamines neem jij per dag? How many vitamins do you take a day? Ik neem er 12. I take 12 of them. So this is kind of the possessive of it. Sort of. It's kind of the same as 3, but it's more specific and easier. Mijn medicijnen zijn bijna op. Ik heb er nog maar 3. My medications are almost gone. I only have 3 left. I only have 3 of them left. So ik heb er nog maar 3. So this R is the of them, basically. You could also say, ik heb nog maar 3 van ze over. But that's very awkward, so you just use R. All right. Then, I don't have slides for this, unfortunately. The placement of R in the sentence. This is very important. While R can be act like a preposition of place, like at the university or something, it has its kind of own place in the sentence, together with hier, meaning here, and daar, meaning there, specifically. And they go in front of all the other prepositions, adverbs. So here we have an example in the booklet. Ik had er gisteren bij moeten zijn. I should have been there yesterday. Or should have been at the thing yesterday. So here we have gisteren, which is a preposition of time. And er is a preposition of place here. It's referring to a place. But because, so it would go after the time, usually. But since it's er, it's special and it gets put in front. If it was something else, like ik had gisteren bij het feestje moeten zijn, which is kind of the implication here. I should have been at the party yesterday. Then it just goes after gisteren. But because it's er, it goes in front. That is something I only learned yesterday, not yesterday, a while back. And before when I taught this course, I couldn't really explain why er is placed in such a weird way. But now I know. It goes in front of all the other adverbs. So the other example, je had er geen naald in kunnen steken. What a weird, what a weird example. Sorry, you couldn't have put a syringe inside it. I don't know what I was thinking when I thought of the example. Je had er geen naald in kunnen steken. Yeah. So if the geen naald wasn't there, then er and in would be in the same place, right? Next to each other. So they would combine in one word. But then the sentence would be very weird. Je had erin kunnen steken. You could have stabbed in it. All right. Long and confusing introduction. It is already time, but now it is time. I don't feel good about keeping you here. Although I always do that. No. I won't. No, I won't keep you here. I will end it here. This is a bit more homework for next week. So please prioritize this exercise, oefening 1 and 2, for next week, over these translation exercises. Those are very helpful to do, but please do these 2 other exercises first. because it's good to practice with it. I don't normally I would just go through them myself and show you the answers, but I think it is worthwhile for you to practice doing this. And I don't want to keep you any longer. I don't think that's fair. So that was it for today. I have one more fun slide. Zijn nog vragen? Ha, 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 ha. Are there any questions? I assume by now you're brain dead enough. But no, yeah, so I'm brain dead at the moment, so I don't talk well. But if you have any questions, please let me know. And otherwise, I wish you a good night, and I'll see you next week.
We have one question.
Yes, please.
Where do you post the slides?
I
post the slides in the Files tab of the. I can show. Let me show you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because
maybe I'll be there. It will be clear why you couldn't find it. Maybe because they're not there. It could also very well be. So it's here. Booklet, slides, and other files.
Yeah.
Files.
Yeah.
Loady. Advanced course. And then the damning evidence. Yeah. So I didn't put the last ones on there.
Okay.
That's why you couldn't find it. I should have put them on there. I will right now, and I will put these ones on there as well.
But, thanks.
Bedankt.
Dankjewel.
Yes. All right. If there's not any questions, tot volgende week. Thanks for being here.
Tot volgende week. Dankjewel.
Bye bye.
Dankjewel.
Doei. Dat R op het einde ging even.
Nee joh, ja, het is echt fucking moeilijk.
Ja, terwijl ik het aan het uitleggen was, realiseerde ik me steeds meer hoe moeilijk het was.
Ja, het is echt het is best wel een moeilijk onderwerp. Maar ik denk dat het wel goed ging. En gewoon ook wel goed dat huiswerk gewoon volgende week is. Kunnen ze er zelf nog eventjes rustig naar kijken, weet je wel. En als je op een gegeven moment moet je ook gewoon opgaven maken, denk ik. Want dan... Ja, dan ga je pas
erg gewoon mee bezig
wat jij bedoelt te zeggen, zeg maar.
Ja, nee, het is allemaal leuk en aardig als je het gewoon hoort, maar...
Ja.
Je moet inderdaad mee bezig. Het is in ieder geval. Oh, ben je er nog? Of ben je al weg?
Sorry, ja, ik viel even weg.
Ah, oké.
Sorry. Anyway. Oh, ik zal de opname stoppen, want dat ben ik nog aan het doen.